one's not working. Okay, I think I'm running out of time. Let's finish. Here we go. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Chapman family. So what we're doing today, we're going on vacation. Hey, you want to say something to them? You want to welcome? Say welcome.
Welcome back to the Chapman family YouTube.
Tell them what they need to do.
They need to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button.
So you'll be notified when we post new videos. Go ahead and if you could, go ahead and give us a like, and also let us know in the comment section where you're from. But what we're doing today, we're going on vacation. So she's had these
curls.
Well, these are goddess braids. Scoot back for me. You're making me work. My back's hurting. Scoot back. All right, she's had these goddess braids in for a week. We tried on the braids that went viral on TikTok. So we're going on vacation. We're going to the beach in the morning. So what we're doing, we're going to do an easy style. And I'm not going to redo the parts, even though I see where I could have done the parts better the first time I did it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually just redo the braids and kind of, I'm going to redo the whole style, but I'm not going to redo the parting. We're just going to clean up the parts, and then I'll use some of this extreme gel. I don't know if y'all can see it, maybe a little light. So now I'm going to go in with a little gel on the roots just so I can really clean up that area that I'm going to braid. And then I'll kind of redo the parts. Make sure you let us know in the comment section where you're from. And make sure that y'all can hear me. Can everybody hear me? Let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Hey, you can't keep. I'm going to slide it back a little bit. There we go. You're killing my back. And then once we get a few more people, we're going to start with our story on the time that her daycare caught on fire. And why we were so upset about it. Unfortunately, I did not win this either, but they did give me a consolation prize. This is my first ever Squish. All right, so I got my part as clean as I'm probably going to get it. So I'm just going to go in with a little more of that gel. Squishmallow's human claw machine. Apparently there were some unreleased Squishmallows in there. The line seemed really long. Can you cut the line? Everybody let me know in the comment section where you're from. Also, don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button. Measuring 9.3 centimeters, 3.8 inches. And she always hates putting her head down. It's hard for me to get her to keep her head down, especially when she has that phone. Hey, can you look down for me? Hey, look down for me. So then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of edge control. I know some people don't like to use edge control on there, but this is the amount that I'm using, only a little bit. I'm going with a little bit of edge control to kind of slick it down a little bit, and then I'm going to start braiding. And this is an easy style. It's fine. He's actually following me home. I told him that mom. And you can pretty much do it. Hey, you're going to have to turn back. Look that way. And I don't know what's, put your head down for me. Look down. You can take the hair out as you want to. But once I get a little bit, I guess a third of the way down, I kind of take out a piece to leave out. It's not yours. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. And then I continue to braid, and sometimes I ask her to hold it. But she's not cooperating with me right now because she's trying to look at the camera.
I'm not.
I don't know what's going on. All right, so then I'm just going to About another third of the way, I'll take out some more hair to leave out. It's not an exact science, but I don't confuse myself on this one. And I try not to use too much product because I noticed the first time that I did it, I used a good amount of product, and it took forever for her hair to actually get that, that look when it's settled. Courtney, Ava said, "Hey, yes, we can hear you." Courtney, Ava said, "Hey." Tell her hi.
I said hi.
You didn't say anything. All right, so Ava, sit down for me now. Come on, cooperate. Put your head down. Put your head, look down. I want to show them. So this is the braid. Like I said, I only left 2 out on this one, but I'm going to try to do 3 on each one, so it'll be more hair left out. All right, so now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to use some of our Ava Noel growth oil. And like I said, this will be coming soon. I use this oil. And I'm going to start moving faster once I get started. And I like this style because even like most of the time braids do not last in her hair. Maybe a day or two, but that'll be as long as it'll last. But with these goddess braids, boho braids, whatever they call, the older they got, the better they started looking. So that was a good thing. That's what I liked about them. And it kind of reminded me of dreads a little bit, those goddess locks, I think they're called. That's what it reminded me of. Like after the third day, because after I did it last week, we went swimming at my sister's house. And once she went swimming, that's when it really started looking nice and kind of looking like natural. And I have videos on my YouTube and TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok at CChap22. I'm sorry, on Instagram, CChap22. And you can see those videos that I've done with her actual hair and the progression on. And I also have one on my YouTube as well as a short. And you can see the progression from day 1 to day 5. And like I said, she's been going swimming every day at the WAS summer camp program. So they go swimming 3 times a week. She went on a field trip and she's played and everything else, and her hair held up. The braids held up and they still look nice. And all we did at night was I would go in and re-moisturize it, and then put your head down for me, Ava. Re-moisturize it at night and then put a do-rag on it. So I'm gonna take this one down so I can clean up the part on this side. And I know y'all can't see me clean up this part, but it'll get better when I get back on this side. And if I had time to go back and redo the whole style, my sister told me that I should. Probably because you said, Courtney, Ava said hi. Yeah, that's probably the case. I had to remind myself to look at the comments. But I would go back in and do the ones at the back smaller. But my idea when I first did it, because I was looking at that TikTok, and I know her hair is fine, and we're not adding any hair to it. So I thought that, the bigger the braids, the more natural it would look, instead of looking like some small, what you call them braids? Micro braids. This is probably one of the saddest videos I've ever made on this page. All right, so now what I'm doing, I'm just doing the same thing. I'm adding some, cleaning up the parts, adding some gel, and then I go in with a little bit of edge control. and I just twist that product in and kind of smooth it, and I twist it, and I'm gonna separate it into three equal sections. Now it don't really have to be equal, and you gotta remember you're gonna be leaving some of the hair out. So keep that in mind. Just when you leave it out of the ones that are the pieces that may be a little bigger. And then you just start braiding, and about a third of the way down, or however you want to do it, just leave some hair out. And I think I'm gonna leave more out than I did the last time, just so it'll be a little bit bushier, a little bit fuller. All right, so the story on her daycare catching on fire, and I don't know if she remembered or not because she was young. But at the time I was working at a college, and the college was probably 45 minutes from where we live. So I commuted every day. And I got a call from my sister-in-law. Well, no, I got a call from my wife because she got a call from my sister-in-law. And it was just like the daycare called my sister-in-law, which is my wife's sister, and said that the power was out at the daycare and we needed to pick up the kids or pick up Ava because we only had Ava at the time. And my wife was wondering, she's like, why are y'all contacting, my sister? We had her down as like an emergency contact, but she didn't get a phone call and I didn't get a phone call either. So we were wondering why they didn't just contact us directly. But she was like, yeah, Ava has to be picked up. So I didn't really question it. I just, left work, and I wasn't speeding because, like I said, they told me that the power was just out. So my idea was, I don't have the speed to go get her. So I just rode to go get her. And I drove, I was driving the speed limit for the most part. So when I pull up to the daycare, I do our normal, and this was pre-COVID. So it was during the time where you go in and pick your child up and drop them off. So when I pull up to the daycare, I'm about to enter, and somebody's standing out, and they tell me, no, you need to go on down to like where the baby's room is, where the baby pickup is. And I was like, all right, cool. So I pulled down and I got out, and the director is standing at that exit, and she just says, yeah, we're not allowing parents in the building right now, which was kind of like, okay, I get it, the lights are off. It was kind of confusing, but it did make sense. I guess the lights was off, the power was out. So she said one of the teachers will bring Ava out. So they bring Ava out, and Ava might have been 2 or maybe 3, 3. And they bring her out, and as the director gives her to me, she says, well, she might be hungry, because it was maybe 1:30 at the time. She was like, she may be hungry because the kids didn't get a chance to eat before the power went out. So, that made sense a little bit, but I'm like, y'all could have gave them a snack or something, but I wasn't tripping on it. So I get her in the car, get her in the car seat, and I'm pulling off. And she says, and Ava has always been very vocal and smart, and she knows what's going on. Oh, and I left one part out. When I pulled up, and the director asked me if I was okay. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I be okay? I mean, y'all power went out. And I thought she was talking about, having to leave work. I'm like, no, I'm fine because, my children come first. So at the end of the day, it is what it is when it comes to them. But I was confused when she said that about, are you okay? I'm like, why wouldn't I be okay? But I said, yeah, she's probably talking about, am I okay with my job? And, I was like, I went to school too long, went to college too long to work at a job that I can't leave for my kids, whatever go on. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. But the director was kind of, I'm not gonna say she was weird, but she was different than the original director who had the daycare when we first got there. But so I get in the car and Ava starts. I ask her, I'm like, what do you want to eat? And of course she says McDonald's. And then she says, Daddy, the daycare was on fire. There was a fire at the daycare and the firefighters had to rescue us. And I'm looking crazy. I'm like, what? Firefighters had to rescue y'all. Now, mind you, the director hadn't said anything about a fire. Only thing I knew was the power went out at the daycare. That's what I was told. And that's what my sister-in-law was told. So I'm just listening. I'm letting Ava talk. I'm like, what do you mean it was on fire? She's like, yeah, Daddy, there was smoke. And the firefighters had to rescue us. And they had on their uniforms. And they came and they rescued us. And we were crying. I'm like, wait now. She hadn't said anything about that. I just talked to her. All she said was kids having hate. So I'm just letting Ava talk. And Ava knows what she's talking about. And she doesn't feel and she don't forget anything. So we driving and then she says, yeah, and a little girl was crying. I was crying. And one of them fell. And the firefighter had to come and pick her up. But Daddy, we were scared. So I called my wife. I'm like, what's going on at daycare? What they tell you? Or what they tell your sister when they call? And she said, the power went out. I said, well, it was telling me that it was a fire. And she was like, nah, I don't know anything about a fire. I said, well, Ava doesn't really feel or tell stories like that. And she was like, well, because we're not from where we live, and we don't have family here. So we're not like to know what's going on, word of mouth or anything like that. So she was like, and my wife works where we live. So she's like, let me just check with some people. So at this point, I'm upset because I'm like, if something's going on like that, a fire, you tell the parents. And I get not wanting to scare us. So maybe you didn't want to tell us if you had it under control. Maybe you didn't want to tell us while we was driving from work if you knew we had to commute. I get that part. But you should tell us something. And see, I got this first row done. Well, granted, she didn't tell us anything. So my wife calls me back. She was like, yeah, my coworkers. Oh man, we got some tangles up in here. I have to get that tangles up. And that's probably from us, from them swimming. I'm going to gently get these tangles out because I ain't trying to break her hair in no way, shape, or form. But, so my wife calls back and said, yeah, my coworkers, because most of her coworkers are from where we're from, said, yeah, there was a fire at that daycare. And she was right. The firefighters did come, and they said it was smoke, and then there was an actual, I don't know if there was an actual flame, but there was a fire at the daycare. So it made me mad, made me feel some sort of way. What do y'all think about that? Should they have told us that there was a fire at the daycare? And their thing was everything was under control. There was never an actual fire. The only thing was there was smoke, which Ava did confirm that there was smoke. There was smoke. But my thing is this: if you got my child in your care, there's no way you shouldn't tell me that y'all had the fire department, had to call the fire department to the daycare where my child is. You saying that that it was just y'all lost power. No, they had to cut your power off because there was a fire. I think you should communicate that with the parents. I mean, we paying y'all money to keep our kids safe. So there's just certain, to me, there's just certain things, information you should disclose to the parents, especially if the parents are asking you clearly, or if the parents are come picking up the child, and you can't just assume that everybody is from that place and they know people and they just know automatically it's gossip. They just know what's going on. You can't assume that. So I was so mad about that. And my wife was mad and she said something to the director, and the director was like, well, I knew people had to commute. Some people were commuting from work, and I just didn't want y'all to be in danger because everything was under control. There was never an actual fire. And that wasn't the only thing with that daycare. So since we own the daycare and nobody's actually talking in the chat, not only that, turn around for me, Ava. Turn back around for me. Ava, turn back. Just turn back this way where you were. That way. This way, baby. So that wasn't the only thing with that daycare. And as y'all can see, all I'm doing is taking the braid out, and I'm using that Ava Noel growth oil to soften it up. I hadn't used any water or anything like that. I'm not going to use water right now because I do want it to be somewhat stretched because it'll draw up on its own as the days go on, and probably tomorrow. And like I said, we're going on vacation. We're going to the beach, so she'll get in the water, and it'll draw up on its own. So I'm not going to really add water unless it's just a spot that I need to, because it won't. I can't get a tangle out. But also with that daycare, another thing is, like I said, I worked 45 minutes away from where we live. And then also my mom, everybody's at least an hour away from us or more. So my sister. So I rarely pick Ava up from daycare. I did it sometimes, but it was very rare that I really picked her up. But all of the teachers that were there knew me because she had been there since she was 3 months. But with this director that came in and bought it, every time I came, and now they had our driver's license on file, but every time I came to pick up my child, she would come out of the office and be like, who are you here to pick up? When the teachers clearly know that I'm Ava's dad, and I would say, I'm here to pick up Ava. And she would always say, oh yeah, I didn't know because you rarely pick her up. I didn't know, I forget, you look different every time you come up here. And this is a daycare that I ain't trying to stereotype or anything, but where mainly majority of people that go there are white. So I started feeling some sort of way, because and then my mom and my sister, every time they would go pick up and they on the list, she would always say, I need to call to verify, and they're already on the list. You got their driver's license on file. They're on the list to pick her up. But every time you got to give us the runaround for them to pick her up. And then, like, the type of job I had, you could call me at any time as long as I wasn't with a student or in class, and even if I was in class, I would still have my phone on me in case I needed it. But my wife is a nurse, so a lot of times she may not be able to get to her phone. But every time they come, my sister would call me and be like, yeah, we came to pick Ava up. And the lady was like, she got a call because my wife didn't tell her that Ava was getting picked up. Anybody was picking her up. And I'm like, y'all on the list. Tell her just check the list. And then she was like, yeah, she said she had to call. So, but Valerie's not picking up the phone, or my wife's not picking up the phone. So I'm like, well, they can tell her just call me. And she was like, no, it has to be, she has to call Valerie. I'm like, what sense do that make when, me and my wife are married and we both are parents to Ava? Why do you need to call to verify with her and not me if my sister's on the phone with me and she's clearly telling you that she's on the phone with me, all you gotta do is just call me to verify. And I felt like it was a race thing. I ain't trying to be, like that, but it's just what it is. I felt like it was a race thing because I felt like if it was a white man and a white woman, she would just say, oh, that's fine. You can just pick up the child. And I mean, she would say it on several occasions as if, she couldn't believe that I was Ava's dad or something like that. And it just made me feel some sort of way. How would y'all feel if the same thing, y'all going to pick up y'all child, and every time you pick them up or you send your parents to pick up your child, and they always try to, or just the director, not the teachers, because like I said, they knew me from even before she took over the daycare or bought the daycare. So they already knew me, and they were friendly, and I love all of the teachers that were there, all of Ava's teachers. But wouldn't you think it was about race if that happened? And I don't know if y'all know, but my wife is white, so we are in an interracial marriage. So it just used to make me feel some sort of way. I'm in a majority white daycare, and I'm the parent that you stopping, and my parents are the ones that you giving the runaround when they come and pick up my child. I'm sorry, my daughter really want to get out of the kitchen, but she's gonna mess up this live. But yeah, I felt some sort of way, honestly. And then so I just dealt with it because, like I said, Ava had been there since she was 3 months old, and we liked a lot of the most of all the teachers that we dealt with, we liked them. And the teachers really treated Ava right. Ava was their baby, and we just didn't want to uproot her from her daycare that easy. But there were some other things that went on, so we'll move on. So then, COVID happened, and the kids were basically at home during COVID, and we had Asher. So Asher started there when he was maybe not 3 months. It may not have been as soon as Ava did because he was born in March. So he was a little older than 3 months, but not much because the schools were closed. We were doing virtual school then, and I was teaching 7th grade at that time, oldest. So I had went back to K through 12. So I was teaching 7th grade, but I still was commuting, same thing. And so then, Asher goes there. Ava's finishing up there. She's about to go to start school. And they tell us that, next week we are selling the daycare. We're selling, there's going to be another new owner, which in a way I wasn't mad it was going to be another new owner because I won't say I didn't like her because personally I didn't know her, but I didn't like how she did things like with the fire that rubbed me the wrong way, and then how she tried to treat my sister and my mom when they came to pick up Ava, or trying to act like she doesn't know me every time I come in there. I got to get to run around and pick up my child. So that's what I didn't like about her. So I wasn't really mad. I was just mad that you tell us like a week before that the daycare is changing ownership. So, and it's during COVID. But anyways, the daycare changed ownership, and she now when she was the owner, we paid every Friday. So every Friday, and you could have paid monthly, but we paid weekly every Friday, and that was fine. That's the way that we pay. You know, the week that they go, you pay on that Friday of that week, no problem. So then the new owner has an app. She's got all this stuff, and we did like that originally. Oh yeah, which new director? The No, I can't let the dog be great. But yeah, I want a fan of the new director. I want the director. I won't call the name of the person, but yeah, I want a fan of her. But so fast forward, the new owner comes in. She sends us these letters and all this other stuff, and she got an app. Now we got to pay. We can't pay directly. We got to pay through the app, but that's fine. You know, that's not a big deal. But what was a big deal is we had just paid for daycare to the old owner on that Friday, and you tell us that now you have to pay a week in advance. So if your child, you know, you're paying for the week that's coming up, not for the current week. So not only do we have to pay the old director, now we got to pay you on the same day for this next week instead of paying next Friday. So yeah, I was upset. I was a little upset about that, but I'm like, it's not a big deal. She's trying to make some changes. She's gonna update it. And like I said, most of the teachers were staying, so it wasn't a big deal that part. And I ain't really like the old owner anyway. So hold that for me. Hey, hold this. So then we start with the new daycare. You know, Asher's there. Ava start school. Everything was all right. It was, to me, the price went up, but and she was making some changes, but it wasn't all that for the price to really go up. To me, she just wanted to hike up the price. But I was cool with it because, like I said, most of the teachers were still there, and Ava loved the teachers, and they were good to Ava, so I knew they would be good to Asher. So last year goes on, and you know it's okay. But one thing I can say is the old owner, she was always at the daycare. Her and her husband was always at the daycare. They had a director, but they was always at the daycare. I never saw this new person, and I think my wife said she might have saw her once when she first started or first took over, but we never saw her. So, and y'all know COVID was going on, but my school was back in the building, and they kept closing down the daycare due to COVID, and they were closing like 2 weeks at a time. So the last time, the last time they closed, like there was a holiday. Can't remember what holiday, but it wasn't a holiday that daycare is closed, like Christmas. But it was after Christmas, and normally daycare is back open. And they send us, and they say, well, who they're voting, we can vote on the daycare staying closed for that whole Christmas break, like the school system, or regular operations, and we wouldn't have to pay for that time. So we voted, and we voted for it to be closed because it was fine with us. Because, like I said, I was teaching and I was going to be home anyway. But we never did hear anything back from the vote. We never saw, oh, it was approved, it was denied, whatever the vote was. So we didn't know about the vote. We didn't know what the outcome was. But then on Sunday night, now this is a Sunday, and people going back to work, most people that, even if they were on work and they're off on the weekend, they going back to work. They sent out, at Sunday night, they sent out alert on the app, and they say, well, due to staff shortages, we have no choice but to close for next week. They still didn't say anything about, the survey was Most of the parents chose to be closed. We were cool with it because I was gonna be home anyway. It didn't really make a difference to us. But I can only imagine for parents that don't work in the school system. Hey, put your leg down. Hey, put your leg down. Put your leg down and sit up. I can only imagine for the parents that don't work in the school system how they were feeling. Like that's just crazy to me that you Sunday night you knew you had staff shortages due to COVID. That wasn't something that just came up when you said something about we're thinking about closing for the next week too. Like it's hard to find childcare, especially during COVID time for your child. So you can't just decide Sunday night, oh, we got staff shortages, so yeah, we're definitely gonna close. So, but that's what they did. So basically, they closed the daycare for that week, and we were fine with it. I didn't like how they handled it, but we still fine. Hey, turn around, baby. Turn your head. Thank you. But we were still fine with it because it didn't really affect us. But then that next week, that Wednesday that they got back. So they went back, we were back in school, and then on Wednesday, my wife called and said that they told her that they were closing daycare down for good on that Friday. Now, that was a Wednesday that they told her that. So basically, we're going to have to find somewhere permanently closing the daycare down. We're going to have to find somewhere for our son to go to daycare because Friday will be their last day. So that next week, if y'all don't have nowhere for your child to go, it is what it is. And this it's still due is during COVID. So, daycares are already probably short staffed. And she says they're closing. The new owner says, we're closing due to staff shortage. And I get staff shortages. I mean, it is what it is. You can only do so much. But you didn't just decide that Wednesday that you had staff shortages and you were no longer going to be able to run the daycare. So, but that's exactly what happened. So we rushing trying to find somewhere for our child to go because we don't have family that lives here. So it ain't like we got a grandma that could keep him or keep him. And all the daycares were full. He was already on the waiting list because we were mad about some other stuff from the daycare. So he was already on the waiting list for some other daycares, but of course he wasn't like number 5. I think the lowest number he was number 11 on the waiting list. So we still had to find somewhere to go. And most of the places were home daycares. And, he had been at daycare since he was 3 months. And we just weren't real comfortable with the home daycares as much. Because one of them she looked at, they had 11, or I can't remember. I think she said 11 kids. And, they didn't really have much of a yard for him to play in. So that next week, good thing, my dad is retired, so my dad was able, and he lives where I was, where I worked at the school that I worked in. So I would have to already leave the house at 6 on a normal day to get to work on time. So I was having to leave the house with Asher at like 5:30 in the morning, take him to my dad, go to work, and still pick him up. Because my dad lives in that same town, but he lives on the other side of where that school is. So they really put us in a bind. And we heard so many rumors about, there's a new person that's taking over and all this and all that. But you messed it up. The old owner messed it up for the new person that was going to take over because you just completely shut that daycare down. So everybody's rushing to find childcare. And once you find good childcare, you're not going to take your child out of another place to put them back in a place that's, unstable. They just closed down on you and told you on a Wednesday, and they closed down for good on Friday. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about that. How would y'all have dealt with it? What would y'all have told them, or what would y'all have done? Let me know in the comments. If you just coming in, I know I've been talking for a long time, but we're doing some redoing her knotless braids, and this is what we have so far. I've been talking a whole lot, and I like to talk. So if y'all don't say anything in the comments, I'm just gonna continue to talk. But this is what I have so far on the braids. I didn't wash it or anything like that. And even when I did it the first time, I did wash her hair, but I didn't blow dry. All I did was wash it. I did a hot oil treatment with Ava Noel growth oil, and then I washed it and I deep conditioned, and then I put it in two braids, like two Pocahontas braids, one on this side, one on that side, and I let it air dry. And then once it air dried, I took those braids out, combed it out, and I braided it. I started braiding from there, and it worked out good. Her hair still was stretched. But now I'm just taking out the old braids, and I'm using some of this Ava Noel growth oil to kind of make it a little soft, easier to take out. So nobody talking in the comments? Y'all don't want to talk to me? But yeah, we are going on vacation, so we're trying to get ready. Should have been trying to get ready, but what I didn't want to do, I knew she was going to the Y, and they were going on field trips and they be going swimming every day. I didn't want to redo it like yesterday or anything like that, and then today it be looking crazy. I wanted to be fresh tomorrow. Because as you can tell, her hair is fine, so it don't hold braids as good. Because these braids held up pretty good for a week, I will say. Especially with all the swimming. Charlie, can you let her out? Something. Courtney, you still there? If y'all just logging in, go ahead and like. And you can see the braids that I've done so far. I think I've got 2 rows done. I should have more than that, but like I said, I've been doing too much talking. I'm gonna speed up though. But the good part about it is we did find it was a lady that already worked at one of the other Ys that my wife works out at. She was already working for that daycare part of it. So the kids were already familiar with her because they would go when my wife went to work out, they would keep them for 2 hours or an hour while she worked out. And the lady actually lives not far from us, and she was able to really help us out a lot. And she kept him until we were able to get him in the same Y that my daughter goes to after school. So we had a daycare situation figured out. And as y'all can see, to kind of separate, all I'm doing is just twisting it as if it was a dread, and that's kind of how I'm spreading that product out. I'm gonna use my brush to brush some of that product in. But yeah, childcare, man, that joint will stress you out. And people know that you have to, you don't have a choice but to have childcare for your child. So I think they take advantage of that. And they feel like, well, we can do whatever because you got to have somewhere for your child to go. All right, so this will be one that y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to clean up this part a little bit more. And I couldn't find I can't find my parting, the little rat tail cone that makes parting easier. Like with this style, parts ain't gotta be perfect. And I can't part good anyway, so I don't make a big deal out of it. But my sister got some braids, boy, those parts on point. But the difference is she paid for them. These free. And them braiders be knocking y'all head off with them braids, which I can't blame them. But it takes a lot of work. But she gonna get these free 99 braids. And I'm gonna try to vlog while we on vacation. But if y'all, and my sister said all the time, I be saying I'm gonna vlog and I take my camera and all that, and I don't even be taking that camera out. I be forgetting to take it out. I'm gonna get better though. When you got 2 kids you're trying to satisfy, and one of them just hard to satisfy because she don't be like, or he don't like anything. I hope y'all can see it good. They starting to look nice. And you notice that I did the first one, I did 2 pieces left out, but on this one, on the rest of them, I left 3. And then when I get to the end, I just twirl the end so that her ends will stay. See? All right, so now I'm on to the 3rd row. And if you notice, I'm taking 2 at a time down so that I can clean up my parts good. Can you turn for me this way? And there are a little bit of tangles from which hair, but not enough she's losing a whole lot of hair. Because I'm taking my time. For those of you that are just joining, what I'm doing, I'm redoing her goddess braids on her natural hair. She had the previous ones in for a week, and we're going out of town. We're going to the beach, so I'm just redoing them, keeping the same parts. I'm just cleaning up the parts and re-moisturizing her hair. And that's it. Turn for me. Hey, facing mom. Turn that way. Thank you. If I had to redo them parts, it'd take me forever because I can't part at all. The only hard part about this is actually taking out each braid before you braid. What you talking about facts about Courtney? I'm sorry. I have to make sure I pay attention to the chat. What you talking about facts? About the daycare? Oh, you probably talking about your the parts for your hair. Yeah. Whoever your braider is, she sure know part of your hair. Good. I ain't even gonna say. I would say, oh, I'm gonna get there one day, but I ain't even gonna. If I had a parting comb, I just say that if I had a parting comb, I'd be there. I ain't no professional. But yeah, we're excited about going to the beach. I just hate to get ready part. Especially with 2 kids. If y'all are just joining, let me know in the comment section where you're from. Also, if you don't mind liking for us, also hitting that subscribe button. And what we're doing now is so God is great. Can you feed them for me? Dog's going crazy running around here. Courtney told me let the dogs be great. They being great. You see how great they are. And let me know if any of y'all have tried these braids or will try it. And people that logging off, I still appreciate y'all coming in. If you can, like for me. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if y'all have something to ask or have a comment on what I should be doing, what you think I should be doing, just put it in the comment section. And then I will try my best to answer. Oh yeah, by braiding the hair, yeah, it's free. Shoot. I had a comment recently that said, you know, we'll never have to pay for a salon to do my daughter's hair. And I said, that's the goal. Now, the only time she's been to a salon was when she got her hair cut recently. And that's because I don't know nothing about cutting no hair now. And I ain't even comfortable with that. But what's crazy is, as much as I don't know how to cut no hair, I believe she would trust me to actually do it. Even though she just wouldn't know what she was getting herself into. Look how good that looks. And I ain't no professional braider, but just think about how it's gonna look once it, like I said, gets a little age to it. And it's versatile. If you go look at the reel, or not the reel, the YouTube short that I posted, all them different days, she can wear it up. She can wear all kind of different. Anywhere you can wear dreads or wear your own hair, you can do the same thing with these braids. It's versatile. And the older that it gets, the better it looks. This artist creates these amazing statues using layers of paper. Just look how trippy they are when you move them around. And this woman used burnt pieces of toast to create this incredible artwork. These are creative people who are. And I'm probably gonna make a video. I did record the last time I did it. I just been lazy and I haven't went in and edited a video. But I'm probably gonna post like a tutorial, even though it's easy. You don't really need a tutorial. But I post what we did the first time. I'm trying to get better with going live, doing live, so y'all can get to know us a little better. Maybe y'all will start saying stuff in the comments, get more confident. Has anybody heard about the situation that went viral on Facebook about the co-parent, about the guy or the girl and her child's father in the eating, bringing the child something to eat situation? I think she posted a video saying that he's always bringing the child as biological. He is food and not her other 4 or 5 kids, however many. Food. And, she blasted him. And I know people say it was a hoax. It was just a TikTok video. And I get that and that's fine. But actually, it did spark a conversation because I looked on social media, and a lot of people were talking about it. Everybody had a different opinion. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the comment if you know what I'm talking about. Gordon, the only one talking in the comment. It's cool. It's cool. I'm starting to get off now. I'm trying to move too fast. I'm surprised she ain't asked me. And as you can tell, like on the ones that I have more hair in, those are the ones that I'm using. Like the sections that I have more hair, those are the sections I use to leave some hair out. And some people don't even go like all the way down on the braids. But I do on hers go a little farther down because I know hers will unravel. So I just go as far because I know it's gonna unravel anyway. And the farther I go down is the less chance of it unraveling to where the whole thing comes undone. It was it was a scheme that Todd set up from the start, like on the Housewives Ain't Bertha. It was a scheme Todd set up from the start. You right. But yeah, it was, but it did get everybody to talking. And I didn't share my opinion on it. But my opinion, turn for me. My opinion is, granted, you're not obligated to do anything, but for what you have, your responsibility. But as a human and how I was raised, I'm not gonna buy anything for one child and not bring food or whatever for all the other children that's in the house. And to me, like I had people from where I'm from say, "Oh no, he wasn't wrong. I would do the same thing, and my child would eat it right in their face." Like those kind of people, and I know some of them were just being funny for they wouldn't actually do that in that scenario. But my children can't come stay at your house, even if they're friends with your child. They can't stay the night at your house if that's how you feel. If you feel like it's all right, now, did the man deserve to be blasted? No, he don't deserve for the child's mom to post it on social media if it was a real situation. No, that was something that they could have had a conversation about, and and some people saying, well, he might not have had the money, and I get that. If you don't have the money for it to bring everybody something to eat, then just pick your child up and take them on. Make that a day where you just take your child with you and take them to go get the food. But yeah, kids are kids and they innocent. And to me, the only way that because people were saying, nah, bump them kids, I wouldn't do that, or it's different. Because I was having a conversation, they were like, I'm like, well, what if your child's friend is over at your house and you're gonna bring food for just your child and not their friend? Oh, that's different. No, that's not. Or your niece and nephew? No, that's not different. Because those are, if they're your child's siblings, what other friends, better friends do they have besides siblings? Like, nah, it's the same scenario. The kids are innocent. And to me, the only reason why you have a problem with doing that is if you still got some kind of feelings towards the mom, or y'all still got some kind of dealings with each other. Because other than that, they kids, they innocent, and that got nothing to do with you and that person getting back together. Shoot, I'm just thinking if it was my parents My dad would have asked everybody in the house, even my mom, do you want anything, even if they're not together? That shouldn't matter. You buying somebody food from McDonald's, that's not anything or obligation or anything. And like I said, if you couldn't financially do it, that's cool. I see that. Then all you gotta do is pick your child up or call the mom in advance and say, hey, I want to bring so and so something to eat, but I don't have enough for everybody in the house. Do you want to get the rest of the kids something so at least they won't feel left out? Because it's all about a child and them, because they don't understand the dynamics of what's going on. They don't understand, oh, well, we ain't his responsibility. All they seeing is this child got McDonald's and we don't. And a lot of people made it more serious, talking about, oh, well, she could have just bought this and fed them. She wasn't saying she couldn't feed her children, but y'all know kids be wanting McDonald's. Y'all know how y'all was when y'all asked y'all parents, hey, can we have McDonald's? They ask you if you got McDonald's money. We got food at the house. Kids gonna want McDonald's if they see it. So what y'all think about this so far? There's one person in, but we're gonna roll with it. It's cool. But what y'all think about that scenario? Let me know in the comments. If we don't get some more people on soon, we're gonna end the live, and then I may come back on after we eat, and I finish it, or I may just finish it off camera. Because what I'm not gonna be is trying to do it at 10 o'clock. I want to be done in the next hour, 2 hours. If you're just logging in, let me know where you're from. Hey, you like these kind of breaks? Huh?
No.
You do know, girl. Turn back around now.
I don't know.
You don't like the braids you had last week? Yes, you did. You told me you liked them. You just trying to be mean now.
I don't know.
Okay. You ready to go to the beach? Ava.
Right.
Why you being all crap? I was gonna tell you you can have a break in a little bit. Dang, we've been going for an hour and 3 minutes. After I do this row, I'm gonna turn this live off. I'm gonna end the live, and then we're gonna eat. And I'll probably, if I feel like I may come back on live and show y'all the rest, or I may just do it off camera. Y'all not talking to me anyway. But this is what we have so far. I'm on row 3. And I may have to stand up in a minute just so I can reach it. Is that rain? Storming here where we are. Hopefully it's not raining at the beach. If you just joined, if you don't mind liking for me. And this is what I have so far with her goddess braids. Let me know in the comments if anybody in there, let me know what y'all think. I don't know, Ava. I may give you a break before this go out. I need a break. And this is what we have to do when we're doing a style like this. I have to take some breaks. I ain't no real professional, so I have to take me a couple of breaks. But we've only been doing it about an hour and 5 minutes, and seeing as how I got to take each one of them out and then redo it, and we almost halfway done. So it's gonna take me a total of probably like 2 hours to do it. But that's still good because we won't have to do her hair while we are on our little mini vacation. So it's worth the 2 hours that you spend on the front end to not have to do anything to it really while you're there besides just moisturizing it. And then when we get back, we won't have to worry about trying to get back and do her hair and then try to find a style for her to wear to summer camp or swimming. She's gonna start back up her swimming lessons when we get back. So yeah, that's a good thing. I hate to have to stand up, but I'm gonna have to stand up. My back started hurting after a while. After this one, we're gonna get off the live. But if you don't mind, go ahead and like for me and comment. Let me know where you're from in the comment section. And like I told y'all, my parts ain't straight. They ain't clean as they could be. But it is what it is at this point. They look good enough. I need me a partner comb. My dog, if y'all hear, that's my dog. She is 12 years old, a 12-year-old pit bull, and she hate bad weather. And we got her in the kitchen